You know what's really fascinating about the world of celebrities? It's not just the lights, the carpets, and the perfect poses. It's the fact that behind every smile, there's a story behind every viral moment. There's a lifetime of effort, heartbreak, laughter, and learning, and sometimes the truth is that these people we see as untouchable, icons are just humans like us facing rumors, pressures, expectations, and still finding ways to shine brighter than ever. Like take Taylor Swift, for example, a girl who started with a guitar and a notebook, writing songs about her feelings and somehow turned her personal stories into global anthems. She went through waves of online chatter, endless speculation, and media noise, yet every time she came back stronger, proving that resilience can be melodic. Her decision to re-record her albums was more than a business move. It was a statement about owning your voice, owning your narrative, and showing fans that you can take control of your story even in a world that tries to rewrite it for you. And that kind of strength connects to so many other stars like Selena Gomez, whose journey has been a lesson in grace. She has faced health battles, emotional struggles, and constant public attention, but her message of kindness and mental health awareness keeps resonating. She reminds people that fame doesn't shield you from pain, but it can give you a platform to heal together with others. And then there's Keanu Reeves, the internet's favorite humble king, who somehow manages to stay grounded in a world that constantly tests humility. Despite immense fame and tragedy, he continues to give quietly. Generous gestures like funding crew members' families or avoiding flashy displays instead, choosing compassion over clout. And speaking of compassion, Beyoncé continues to redefine what it means to use influence for empowerment. From her early days in Destiny's Child to her solo reign, she has turned every performance into a celebration of heritage, power, and artistry, while also giving back through scholarships and community projects. Her balance of privacy and presence shows that you can share your light without giving away your peace, and that balance is something every celebrity has to navigate in today's age of endless cameras and social feeds, where privacy feels like a luxury even for stars like Zendaya, who, despite being one of the most recognized faces of her generation, handles fame with the calm confidence of someone twice her age. She has managed to avoid unnecessary drama while focusing on creativity, advocacy, and being a role model for young artists, showing that maturity doesn't have to dim the sparkle. It can define it on the other side of the world. Global icons like the members of BTS have rewritten what global fame looks like, breaking language barriers, cultural expectations, and industry norms. Their connection with fans, built on authenticity and gratitude rather than gossip, has created one of the most loyal fandoms in history. They've shown that communication and sincerity can outshine controversy, and that unity is the real currency of fame. Similarly, artists like Priya Prakash Varier or Priyanka Chopra from India have demonstrated how social media moments can become gateways to global recognition, but they also remind us that behind every viral clip, there's hard work, dedication, and a whole lot of courage to face both admiration and criticism with equal grace. And when you think of redemption stories, few come as cinematic as Robert Downey Jr., who turned his lowest moments into the foundation for one of the greatest comebacks in Hollywood history. His journey from personal chaos to becoming Iron Man wasn't just about box office success. It was about proving that your past doesn't have to define your future, it can refine your purpose. And that's the kind of message that keeps people inspired, because in an era where public opinion shifts faster than a trending hashtag, these stories of perseverance feel like a breath of honesty and hope. Even someone like Lady Gaga, who once faced ridicule for her eccentric style, transformed that very uniqueness into her greatest strength, turning vulnerability into art. And advocacy, her dedication to mental health awareness and kindness, is proof that fame can be more than attention. It can be intention, and that sense of purpose runs deep across continents, like in the story of Shakira, who balances global stardom, motherhood, and humanitarian work, showing that no matter how big the stage, your values keep you grounded. The same goes for Cristiano Ronaldo and Lionel Messi, two athletes often compared, yet both defined by relentless discipline and mutual respect. Their success isn't just in trophies, it's in showing generations that greatness comes from focus, not feuds. And it's amazing how across all these names, there's one golden thread: authenticity. In an age where everyone is expected to respond instantly to every rumor or leak, some stars are choosing silence as strength, and that's powerful, because silence isn't always avoidance. Sometimes it's self-protection, like how Emma Watson keeps her personal life away from headlines while dedicating herself to women's rights, or how Leonardo DiCaprio uses his fame to amplify environmental causes while maintaining almost no presence on social media, showing that privacy can coexist with purpose. And when we Think about rumors and online noise. We realize it's a modern test of character. So many celebrities, from Meghan Markle to Harry Styles to Billie Eilish, have had to navigate the blurry line between personal truth and public narrative, yet what shines through is how they use their voices to spread empathy instead of retaliation. Billie, for instance, talks openly about body image and mental health turning potential negativity into empowerment, and Harry, with his gender-fluid fashion and soft-spoken demeanor, challenges norms with kindness and creativity, reminding everyone that being different is being human. And that's the heart of this new celebrity era, one where fans don't just idolize, they empathize, they grow alongside the stars. They follow, creating communities of positivity instead of gossip echo chambers. Even when scandals or misunderstandings appear, the focus slowly shifts toward redemption, reflection, and reinvention, like in the journeys of Miley Cyrus or Demi Lovato, who both turned personal challenges into messages of healing and strength through music and honesty. They remind the world that the most inspiring comeback isn't about the applause, it's about authenticity, returning to yourself and sharing that growth publicly in ways that help others too. And it's interesting how modern technology shapes this narrative, from paparazzi lenses to privacy, apps from instant tweets to disappearing stories. Celebrities now live in a digital glass house where every action can be magnified, but instead of crumbling under that spotlight, many choose to evolve, adapting to new ways of communicating without losing their essence, whether it's through heartfelt posts about mental health, small acts of charity done quietly, or major global campaigns for equality and sustainability. The pattern remains clear. The world is no longer interested in perfect images. It's drawn to realness, to emotion, to stories that remind us that behind the glitter, there's grit, behind the fame, there's faith, and behind every headline, there's a human being trying to do their best to stay kind, focused, and true to their values. And when you think about what keeps people hooked to celebrity stories, it's not just fame, it's evolution. It's that shared curiosity about how someone transforms under pressure, how they stay grounded while carrying the weight of the world's attention, because the spotlight can feel warm, but it can also burn. And that's where the true strength of a celebrity's character is revealed, like when Rihanna turned businesswoman, reshaping beauty standards through her Fenty empire by creating inclusive shades that told every person they belonged, or when Zendaya walked the red carpet wearing outfits that celebrated diversity and history with elegance, proving that fashion can be activism too. Or take someone like Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, who moved from wrestling arenas to movie screens, yet always carries that same authenticity, cracking jokes, talking about his mom, his workouts, his past struggles. He's proof that success doesn't erase your beginnings, it amplifies them, and that transparency is what makes fans connect. And across cultures, we see this same story play out in stars like Blackpink from South Korea, who broke every record with their energy, but never forgot to thank their fans, calling them family, reminding the world that humility travels farther than hype. And the idea of privacy versus publicity continues to shape celebrity culture. Because while fans crave closeness, many stars are learning to set healthier boundaries. Ariana Grande, for example, after facing immense public scrutiny about her relationships, decided to pull back and focus more on art and healing, which taught millions that self-care sometimes means stepping out of the frame to find peace again. And in that process, she grew stronger. Her music more reflective, her presence more intentional, and that shows how fame doesn't just build careers, it builds character. And then we have Timothée Chalamet and Florence Pugh, two rising actors who show that even the younger generation of Hollywood can approach fame with mindfulness, choosing challenging roles, focusing on craft rather than constant visibility. And that's refreshing because it keeps storytelling at the center of the spotlight, not scandal. And if you zoom out, across continents, you'll find stars like Bad Bunny from Puerto Rico, redefining masculinity through music and performance, or Zendaya collaborating with brands that highlight sustainability, creating conversations that matter, and it all ties back to this truth that celebrities today aren't just entertainers. They're cultural mirrors. They reflect our hopes, our values, our progress, and our flaws. And that's what makes their journey so fascinating. Because every time they face a wave of rumors, every time something gets blown out of proportion, the way they respond or choose not to respond becomes a lesson for millions in emotional intelligence. Like when Selena Gomez told fans to protect their hearts online, reminding them not to feed negativity and focus instead on spreading love. That moment wasn't a headline. It was a human moment, and moments like those define this new generation of stardom, where advocacy, empathy, and authenticity outshine controversy, and you can see it in how stars rally for good causes, from LeBron James building schools to Angelina Jolie, championing refugee rights, to Malala Yousafzai attending award shows, not as a performer, but as an icon of courage side by side with the artists who sing about empowerment. These connections blur the lines between celebrity and citizen, reminding us that influence is a tool, not a trophy. And that brings us to one of the most powerful aspects of modern celebrity culture, the comeback story, because audiences love a rise, but they love a redemption even more. Think about Britney Spears, whose freedom became a movement about agency, or Drew Barrymore, who went from childhood turbulence to becoming one of the most beloved talk show hosts, spreading joy and compassion every day. Or even Justin Bieber, who, after facing intense criticism, chose faith, therapy, and family to find balance again. His journey from a teenage idol to a reflective adult musician shows that fame doesn't have to break you, it can rebuild you differently. And across genres and borders, there are countless stars who mirror that theme. Like Jennifer Lopez, proving that reinvention has no age limit, or Shah Rukh Khan from India, reminding everyone that kindness and humor are timeless assets no matter how big your fame grows. And there's a beauty in watching these figures age gracefully, not by hiding from time, but by embracing it. Meryl Streep, Viola Davis, Cate Blanchett. All women whose artistry deepens with every performance, who remind the world that power doesn't fade, it matures. And if you think about it, that's the same message many young fans need today in a culture of filters and instant fame. The patience to grow, the courage to pause, the grace to start over. These are lessons hidden inside the glimmer of the red carpet. And what's really moving is how fans have become part of this evolution. They no longer just consume content, they shape it. Fan bases raise funds for charity in there, idols' names they defend, causes they share, messages of hope. Like how ARMY, the BTS fandom, plants trees or donates blood drives around the world, or how Swifties donate to domestic abuse shelters after Taylor's speeches. That's not fandom, that's family. It's a ripple effect of empathy. And that's what makes this era of celebrity so unique. It's not about distance anymore. It's about connection, even across screens, time zones, and languages. And of course, not every journey is perfect. Sometimes misinformation spreads like wildfire, and the temptation to respond is huge, but many stars are learning that silence can be more powerful than reaction, that dignity outlasts drama, and over time, truth has a way of surfacing like waves. Smoothing rough shores, and that calm, quiet approach has made figures like Adele and Ed Sheeran so beloved because they let their art speak louder than any tabloid rumor. They step away when needed, come back when ready, and in doing so, they teach. That balance is the real luxury of modern fame. And we can't forget the ways celebrities use their platforms to highlight hope during tough times. Whether it's fundraising after natural disasters, speaking about climate change, or encouraging vaccination awareness. These acts show that being a star isn't about shining alone. It's about lighting paths for others. And in that sense, celebrity becomes less of a title and more of a responsibility, which many embrace beautifully. Like David Beckham working as a UNICEF ambassador, or Emma Stone supporting mental health initiatives, or even influencers like Charli D'Amelio using her reach to speak about online kindness. These are the small yet powerful gestures that remind us that influence can heal, not just trend. And what's so touching is that the more we see these stars open up about their imperfections, the more relatable they become. Because at the end of the day, fans don't want perfection. They want sincerity. And that sincerity is what has turned many once private moments into movements of understanding, like when Meghan Markle and Prince Harry spoke about mental health and the pressures of visibility. It started conversations that went far beyond the palace. It reached people everywhere, dealing with similar pressures in their own quiet ways, proving again that fame magnifies, but it doesn't separate, and that shared humanity keeps people listening, watching, and feeling connected through every story, every challenge, every triumph. And it's really something how the idea of fame keeps evolving, because decades ago, being a celebrity meant distance and mystery. But now it's about dialogue, connection, and visibility, where stars are expected to be both icons and inspirations, both performers and people. And that's not always easy. But the ones who balance it with authenticity are the ones who stay loved the longest. Like Taylor Swift staying close to fans through handwritten notes or meet and greets, or Zendaya using her social media not for drama, but for gratitude and sharing creativity. And in that same spirit, you find people like Tom Holland, who despite his superhero fame is refreshingly open about his nervousness, his relationships, his respect for privacy, and that honesty just makes audiences root for him even more. And then you have someone like Kehlani or Halsey, who share their personal truths about motherhood identity and growth, showing that vulnerability doesn't weaken your brand, it strengthens your bond with fans. And on a completely different side of entertainment, you see how athletes like Serena Williams and Naomi Osaka are changing what it means to be champions by speaking openly about burnout and pressure, showing that strength is not just in performance, but in pausing to care for your own mind. And that message ripples far beyond the tennis court. It reaches young people learning that even heroes have human hearts. And if you look toward actors like Chadwick Boseman, his legacy continues to inspire millions because his quiet dignity through illness, his devotion to his craft and his community remind the world that true greatness is service. And that's why his story touched so many, because it wasn't just about Black Panther. It was about purpose and love and meaning. And speaking of purpose, it's heartwarming to see figures like Dolly Parton, who decades into her career still gives back in ways that transform lives. Funding literacy programs, donating to vaccine research, showing that generosity never goes out of style. And it's not just about big gestures. Sometimes it's the simple authenticity of someone like Adam Driver showing up to veteran events, or Hugh Jackman supporting theater students, or Gal Gadot visiting hospitals in her Wonder Woman costume. These small acts become huge symbols of hope for those watching from afar, and it's fascinating how many of these stars use art as therapy, turning pain into projects, music, films, or performances that allow them to process and share healing with others, like Selena Gomez releasing songs about vulnerability, or Demi Lovato channeling her recovery journey into lyrics, or Lady Gaga creating Born This Way as both a message and a movement. It's proof that art doesn't just entertain, it heals. And when you zoom out globally, the theme repeats across every culture, every continent. From Burna Boy celebrating African pride through Afrofusion to Bad Bunny using his concerts, to raise awareness about social issues, to Blackpink and BTS highlighting mental health and unity across generations, and even artists like Shakira and J Balvin showing how Latin rhythms can unite the world through joy and movement. And these cross-cultural exchanges remind us that celebrity isn't confined to geography anymore. Fame has gone global and compassion has followed. And what's truly incredible is that even as fame expands digitally through platforms like TikTok and Instagram, you still see stars trying to humanize the experience, sharing moments with family cooking at home, dancing offbeat, or showing behind-the-scenes bloopers. Because fans crave that realness. They want to laugh, cry, and grow with the people they admire. And it's a good reminder for everyone that perfection is not the goal. Connection is, and many celebrities are proving that by breaking the old rules of image management. Now, instead of carefully crafted mystique, they lead with honesty. We see Lizzo embracing body positivity, unapologetically reminding people that confidence is not about size, it's about soul. We see Harry Styles continuing to blur lines of fashion with ease while keeping his message of kindness first, and people feel safe around that kind of energy because it's rooted in love, not image. And that's something younger generations will hopefully carry forward, because they're growing up in a world where even the most famous faces admit they struggle too. And that makes it all more human, more relatable, and more healing at the same time. And speaking of healing, think of how celebrities turn their platforms into community support. Like when Rihanna launched her foundation for education, or when The Weeknd donated to hunger relief, or when Selena's Rare Beauty committed to mental health awareness. It all connects to this beautiful idea that fame can fund change, that glamour can coexist with goodness. And that's what separates fleeting fame from lasting legacy. The ability to use attention to uplift instead of overshadow. And every year, new names emerge, showing how the torch of authenticity keeps passing forward from the greats of yesterday to the voices of today and tomorrow. Like how Zendaya carries the poise of old Hollywood mixed with the modern voice of inclusivity, or how artists like Olivia Rodrigo blend classic songwriting with digital age openness. And these contrasts make the world of fame richer and more diverse than ever before. And if you think about it, some of the most powerful moments in pop culture came not from performances, but from pauses, from quiet interviews, tears on stage speeches that felt like heart-to-heart talks, rather than rehearsed scripts. Like when Michelle Williams spoke about equal pay, or when Viola Davis stood on stage talking about opportunity and representation, or when Beyoncé thanked the generations of women before her who opened the doors, and those moments go viral. Not for shock value, but for sincerity. They're reminders that authenticity always echoes louder than controversy. And what's beautiful is how celebrities from all walks of life continue to learn from each other. Sports stars, learning compassion. From artists, activists learning storytelling. From musicians, actors learning endurance from athletes. It's a full circle of inspiration and humanity that keeps the entertainment world alive and evolving. And it shows that despite the chaos of fame, the headlines, the leaks, the rumors, the heart of it all is love. Love for the craft, love for the fans, love for the causes that make the spotlight worthwhile, and that love becomes the legacy. And the more we look at the modern world of celebrities, the clearer it becomes that the real measure of fame is not in followers or headlines, but in influence that lasts in the quiet things people remember, in the impact that outlives the trending moment, because every era has its stars, but only a few become symbols of something greater, like Oprah Winfrey, whose journey from hardship to empire continues to motivate millions to believe in resilience and empathy. Her story proves that vulnerability and vision can build empires stronger than any rumor could ever tear down. And then there's Denzel Washington, who leads by example, teaching that excellence is not about attention, but consistency and faith in one's purpose. Or Viola Davis, who talks about breaking barriers and finding self-worth in an industry that often measures beauty by narrow standards, showing that authenticity can rewrite definitions, just as athletes like Simone Biles show that courage sometimes means stepping back, speaking your truth, and putting mental health before medals that act alone. Redefined what it means to be a champion, inspiring people worldwide to prioritize wellness over winning. And as we move across genres and generations, it's beautiful to see artists like Adele, who took years away to find herself, return with songs that feel like letters to humanity. Her honesty resonating with people of every age because she reminds everyone that art doesn't need speed, it needs sincerity. And while some choose introspection, others choose innovation like Beyoncé, blending visual art, music, and storytelling into global experiences that celebrate culture, identity, and pride. It's living proof that creativity can be activism, that celebration can be rebellion, and that fame at its best can amplify unity rather than division. And on the other side of the world, stars like Shah Rukh Khan continue to use humor, warmth, and humility to bring joy to millions, showing that even at the highest peaks of fame, laughter and gratitude keep you grounded, and it's that grounding that keeps celebrities relatable, because no matter how glamorous life seems, the stories that move us most are about people finding themselves again after getting lost, whether it's Demi Lovato's recovery, or Miley Cyrus redefining her artistry, or Sam Smith embracing self-acceptance and reminding everyone that love and identity deserve to exist freely without fear. And each of these moments adds a layer to this evolving culture of fame, where mistakes aren't final chapters, they're stepping stones, where apologies and growth replace scandals and grudges. And that's a powerful shift because it shows that the audience too has matured. We've learned to cheer for redemption. We've learned to value transparency over perfection. And that change has created space for voices that were once unheard, from LGBTQ+ advocates to independent creators who rise not through studios, but through authenticity on digital platforms, and that inclusivity enriches the tapestry of fame. So now celebrity isn't limited to film or music. It includes athletes, influencers, scientists, activists, anyone who uses their spotlight for good, and it's wonderful to see collaborations born from that spirit, like musicians teaming up with environmentalists, or actors joining campaigns for education, or gamers raising millions for charity during live streams, because this blending of purpose and passion is what defines our generation of stars. And if you think about it, we are living in the most connected moment in history, where fans can talk directly to their idols and idols can respond instantly. But that access also comes with the challenge of maintaining balance. So when stars like Selena Gomez step back to protect their peace, it sends a message that boundaries are healthy. When Doja Cat jokes about taking breaks, or Taylor Swift disappears between eras, it normalizes the idea that even in constant connection, disconnection is self-care. And that's perhaps the greatest evolution of fame. Understanding that the person behind the public image deserves space to breathe, and that empathy from fans keeps that space sacred. And over time, this mutual respect has created something magical, a relationship built not just on admiration but understanding. Fans defend their idols not by fighting negativity, but by promoting kindness, They trend hashtags for causes, not chaos, and it shows how far culture has come, because instead of consuming gossip, people now crave meaning. They share interviews about resilience instead of rumors about rivalry. They celebrate collaborations like Dua Lipa, working with Elton John, bridging generations and sounds and proving that unity will always be more powerful than competition. And that idea extends beyond music to film, fashion, sports, and art, as we see more and more stars embracing collaboration over comparison and lifting each other up instead of tearing down. We realize that fame is evolving from hierarchy to harmony, and that is perhaps the most inspiring thing about the modern celebrity world. It reflects a collective desire for connection, compassion, and creativity. And when you see that shift play out, you understand why these stories keep us captivated, because they remind us of our own journeys. We may not walk red carpets, but we all face scrutiny. We all search for belonging. We all crave the freedom to be ourselves without fear. And when celebrities live those truths openly, it gives everyone permission to do the same. So as the lights flash and the cameras roll, what really endures is not the noise, but the narrative of growth, gratitude, and grace that turns fleeting fame into timeless inspiration. And it's incredible, really, to think how far celebrity culture has come from an age where stars were distant constellations, glimpsed only through glossy magazines, to now when connection feels real, immediate, and shared, when fame no longer means perfection but presence. And it's that human side of stardom that keeps the world listening, because beyond the filters and headlines lies something universal, the pursuit of purpose and peace, like how Zendaya keeps reminding young fans that self-respect is cooler than any trend, or how Beyoncé's artistry keeps proving that evolution is the truest form of power. And then there's Taylor Swift once again, whose songwriting chronicles growth and forgiveness, turning her personal diary into a mirror for millions, showing that vulnerability doesn't weaken your magic. It deepens it, and across oceans, other artists echo the same tune, like Bad Bunny challenging norms with humor and honesty, or Rosalia blending flamenco and futurism, proving that tradition and innovation can dance together, and we see that theme repeating in every genre, in every culture: the courage to be yourself fully, even when the world keeps watching and judging. And somehow that courage creates light for everyone else to follow. And it's in that glow that movements begin, small acts of authenticity that ripple into waves of change. Because when a star uses their platform to uplift others, it plants seeds of empathy in millions of hearts. Like when Selena Gomez launches a mental health fund, or when Leonardo DiCaprio continues to fight for the planet, or when Rihanna supports communities through education and relief. Every gesture becomes part of a much larger story, the story of humanity shining through celebrity. And as generations shift, new faces take that torch, reminding us that fame is temporary, but influence fueled by kindness lasts forever. You see it in rising talents who speak out for equality, and actors who mentor newcomers, in singers who take time to thank their teams on stage. Those moments of gratitude create legacy more than any trophy could. And maybe that's why, even after decades of watching stars rise and fall, we keep caring, because deep down, the celebrity world isn't just about others. It reflects pieces of us, our hopes, our insecurities, our dreams. And seeing someone rise again after a fall, seeing someone stay kind through chaos, gives us permission to believe we can do the same. And that's what keeps the magic alive. Whether it's Robert Downey Jr.'s comeback, or Demi Lovato's strength, or Lady Gaga's message of acceptance, each reminds us that the road to self-discovery is never a straight line. And that's okay. The detours make the destination meaningful. And while rumors and noise will always exist, the stories that truly endure are the ones rooted in truth, perseverance, and love. Because no matter how fast the digital age spins, people will always crave sincerity. They will always remember the stars who made them feel seen and valued, and that's the real heartbeat of fame. It's not the flashbulbs or the premieres. It's the quiet courage to keep creating, giving, and growing, even when the world watches every move. And as we look at this generation of artists, athletes, and creators from every corner of the world, we realize they're not just shaping entertainment, they're shaping empathy. They're redefining influence as service and teaching that you can chase dreams without losing yourself along the way. So the next time we scroll through headlines or see a red carpet moment, maybe we'll pause and think about the person behind it, the hard work, the heart, the history, the humanity, because behind every name in lights, there's someone who once doubted themselves, someone who chose kindness over chaos, someone who believed that love could outlast any rumor. And that belief is what connects all of us, fans and stars alike, under one shared sky of stories and hope. And maybe that's the ultimate beauty of celebrity culture. It reminds us that even in a noisy world, authenticity will always be heard, that compassion will always trend higher than controversy, and that no matter how bright or brief, the light that comes from within will always be the one that lasts forever. If you love motivational storytelling, celebrity journeys, and cinematic narratives that feel like a friend talking to your heart, this video is for you. Comment below your favorite celebrity story and tell us who inspires you most. Like, subscribe and turn on notifications to never miss more inspiring documentaries.